Thank you so much for listening to the KJNA podcast. You can email us at kjnapodcast@gmail.com.
Give us a call or text or leave us a message at 858-848-KJNA. That's 5562.
You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, TikTok, Blue Sky, and YouTube at KJNA Podcast.
Don't forget, we have 6 hours of bonus content over on our Patreon, patreon.com/KJNA Podcast. And if you want to donate to us, find us at buymeacoffee.com/KJNA Podcast.
Thank you so much for listening.
Love you.
Surprise! Welcome to this episode of the KJNA Podcast. My name is Kevin McKay.
Hi, I'm Jay. I just got done drinking something.
Yeah, I was trying to catch him unawares and it worked.
Did it, though? What I was drinking was not on camera, sir.
A little bit. Yeah, I know. I wasn't trying to catch you drinking on camera. I just wanted you to, put it down and be like, ah! And it worked.
Fair enough. You did catch me in mid-drink. Terrible.
So this, if you haven't listened before, you have to go back 5 episodes. This is number 6.
Yep.
So, number 6 of 8. And
Be there.
Yeah. And this episode is about the Devil May Cry series on Netflix. Jay, would you like to tell the people who is on this one? After you fix your webcam.
Yep. Where are you at? There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
There I am. Hi.
Hey.
All right. So at least for this voice cast, because this episode is primarily visual, so I'm sorry for anybody who has the blindness.
Yeah, if you're blind, you're fucked. If you're deaf, this is great.
I don't know how they would. I mean, I'm going to guess that there is a highly descriptive closed captioning for you, but
a little boy opens up the door. A little boy is carrying a book.
Quite
That's
true.
how the descriptors work.
Probably. I would not be surprised, but Mary is played by Scout Taylor Compton.
Yeah.
The White Rabbit is played by Hoon Lee. The Predator Demon is played by D. Bradley Baker. Huge voice actor. Additional voices include Paris Johnson, Scout Taylor Compton, Carrie Walgren, and Roger Jackson. If you haven't heard those names in our past episode, at least the last 3, then you have not been paying attention. Pay attention!
What?
To the names of the... I don't believe you. But this episode is titled what, sir?
Hold on.
The
First circle.
Yes.
The first circle.
The first
this is
circle.
Actually, my favorite episode, even though it's probably 2 sentences the entire episode.
Yeah, spoken by Mary and by the White Rabbit before he dons the guise of the White Rabbit.
Yep.
But before we get to that, the story opens.
Hey, I'm Jill, the host of the Murder Shelf Book Club podcast. Every other week, I feature a true crime book by one of my favorite authors, telling you the story with respect for the victims and loved ones. But I don't stop there. A psychology educator who's also studied serial killers, I analyze the cases and I endeavor to explain the whys. Why do people do this? Told in trilogies, Part 3 is dubbed Second Cast, where I cast a wider net going into some surprising, bone-chilling directions. Cold cases, homicides, missing persons, serial killers, and stories from history. These both fascinate and appall us. This is a true crime book club, so read with me or let me read for you. Join the Murder Shelf Book Club podcast and see what I'm pulling off the murder shelf next.
Oh, I love it. I love how this opens because it opens very storybookish.
Yeah.
And then you see the White Rabbit leading a young boy, very Alice in Wonderland-y, and he leads him to the demonic White Rabbit. And you're like, oh shit, so this kid that we're seeing is the White Rabbit. And literally, that's just the opening small sequence. But then it's a flashback to Mary's childhood. And John is like intent on experimenting and not getting the results that he wants to try to protect his family from demons.
They don't even say exactly what his goal is. It's just,
No,
I mean, aside from protect his family,
exactly.
it doesn't say how he's going to do it.
So his whole point, as we saw in the earlier episode, which I think was episode 3, is that he is trying to gain power. And his primary goal in gaining that power is to protect his family. Now, the way he goes about it is apparently finding his way to demon pieces. And like he's experimenting with the blood, he's experimenting with the tissue, he's experimenting with various chemicals and alchemy possibly, along with like things he's finding in books. So you're sitting here like, okay, this guy has gone full freaking medieval to find his way to this power that he's looking for. But at the same time, like almost succinctly with Mary's story, we find this boy who is an orphan who is being brought to a new foster home. He's holding an Alice in Wonderland book. He's seeing that the kids in the house are already kind of like super rambunctious and like heavy into like physical combativeness. And he's like, I don't like that, but he doesn't really have a choice. He makes this little helicopter out of like junk in the house, only for it to be
a water bottle. I don't know how the fuck he does it, but I was like, damn.
Yeah, so the kid, so he is super smart, intelligent, and very technologically advanced for his age, only to have that helicopter caught, broken, and then him beaten by the older kids in the house. Then they're sitting at dinner.
Fix your webcam because you're looking at it like this.
How about that?
Thank you. It was freaking me out. It looked like you were like a little kid. Like,
I would like a piece of candy, please.
Shut up, you. I don't want candy. Give me ramen.
Ramens.
Good ramen.
The good kind of ramens, yeah. You gotta go to an international store to get your ramens. You don't get ramens with food on. No.
Shin ramens. Shin ramens is good.
Yeah, but I'm too picky now. I went to New Grand Market one time. I bought all their ramen. I'm like, I'm never getting regular ramen ever again.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Anyways.
But yeah, so at the dinner table, the bigger kid of the group of foster kids steals something off of the boy's plate. He goes to try to get it back. He knocks over a glass of water. The mom of the foster home literally backhands the poor boy. So I'm like, really? That's your takeaway? So he's abused by the other kids. He's abused by the parents in the house. And apparently the welfare worker is just like, it's whatever. And he just dips.
He tries to tell him, like, hey, like, look, I'm covered in bruises. Like, motherfucker, help me out.
And he's like,
the guy's
nah.
just, like, ignoring them, like,
nah, that's okay. The entire time, like, Mary's still trying to have a normal life with her best friend with the glasses, who's a part of the Demon Hunter Club. So they're just playing and having a good time. The father is, literally distancing himself from his wife, Kalina, and Mary.
Wife is not doing much for her either because she's just like distraught because her husband is going crazy.
It's
over this shit. And obviously, it's something they've been arguing about over and over again.
So where do we end up? The boy ends up on the fire escape of the building that they're living in. He's looking at his book from Alice in Wonderland, and a little portal. Yeah, just opens up, and he ends up running down there. Succinctly, Mary and friend reunite and continue normal life. So the boy, So the boy, they're again. Mary's living normal life while the boy
trying to lead a normal life, just going around being a kid.
Yeah. So the boy ends up going through the portal because he's like, I love Alice in Wonderland, and that's where we see an animation transition. So we go from the normal style of animation to something more storybookish.
Yeah.
And he runs from a big demon because that's exactly what he runs into. And of course, he sees that the atmosphere is toxic or makes him cough. So he's running and trying to get away from this thing, unfortunately. And then he is saved by a local Macayan that takes him into the tunnels. And then he finds that Mackay has
like a little civilization and
so even though there's a big demon that he gets introduced to, there are actual normal or fairly normal people that live in Mackay. So he's finding a life for himself, whereas Mary's life.
Him.
Yeah, exactly. They're like
immediately accept him.
Yes, he sees the hardships when he sees people like there are slightly two-tone people, so they're like kind of blue-skinned, but you can see that there are like purple blotches.
Yeah.
So you can see that there is some kind of sickness because of the air quality that they're subjected to. You can see that people are injured possibly because of other higher level demon attacks on them because they are low-level demons versus these heavier set.
I mean, they're basically
monstrous.
just trying to hide out and live, but like even though they're suffering all these hardships, like he sees that they're like, oh, they're really close family. Like they sleep all on the same pallet together, like lined up, and he's like, oh, I feel loved, because they're just like, ooh, cuddle, and
Now, and see, this is the worst part because you see this. There's one young Macayan who is showing a lot of fatigue when they're playing.
Yeah.
And, they're taking it's more of a toll on them to be in this area. And we learned in the last episode that most young Macayans don't make it through the first year after birth because of the air quality in their universe.
Yeah.
So it's again, Mary's finally come to understand that not all demons are evil. They're just trying to survive, just like humans are just trying to survive.
Yeah.
Just saying that for all you people in your high ivory towers.
You get down here with your thin air quality up there.
Yeah. Struggling.
Yeah.
We struggle.
I mean, I know you don't see us, but anyways, sorry, I got distracted by real life. So,
but those, again, within the last couple of episodes, what have we been doing? Making those real world connections, and they're terrible. But that's what makes a good story. It's what makes a good story.
Little boy, the little girl dies, and he gets upset about it, but he finds a piece. Like, I guess it's just part of the Elder Demon technology.
Yeah, so he did find that. He found that green stone, and he was using like very rudimentary, I guess, dead demon parts to access its capabilities.
Yeah, their technology or whatever. And he makes like a radar sort of.
Yeah, that actually allows him to track the portals, like the portal that led him there in the first place, and then open those portals wider so people can actually go through. But at this very moment, we're starting to hear Afterlife playing, which is the song that we got to see a preview to prior to the series. That's by Evanescence, which I thought was.
Evanescence is really good. I like
it's if you guys haven't heard any music by Evanescence, go back. Go back. What do you doing here? Again, what have we been talking about? There's like late 90s, early 2000s music playing, and Evanescence was a huge part of that. So
when you had like a female growling artist, and that wasn't really that.
She plays piano.
She's a badass.
She sings amazing. It's very gothic music. It's awesome. So go check out Amy Lee of Evanescence.
Yeah, for real.
Do it.
And so anyways, so he starts taking groups of Macayans through portals.
Yep.
Like, he doesn't have like a goal or anything. He just gets them to Earth, and he's just like, all right, you can breathe again.
Yeah, he's the only outcome he wants is that his people, the people that have come to love him, the people that he really calls family and friends, he wants to save them from the world that they are having to try to survive in. He wants to bring them over here so that they can survive.
Yeah.
Now, in episode 5 that we just watched and reviewed, the mother that Mary comes across in that apartment says that, you know, we can never find a home because humanity will always hate us and fear us. And that's the same thing that has been brought up multiple times in various comic books or other stories where humanity is constantly seen as this overpowered civilization that cannot accept anything outside of themselves.
Yeah.
It is bullshit. It is hard to be a part of a species that knows that they are constantly looking inwardly and finding things that they hate, but then taking that inward hate outside to cause even more strife to people other than themselves.
Yeah, because the problem is, like, when there was nothing else to hate, they started, it was white people hating black people and any other color. And then, like, if aliens came and attacked us right now, I bet you interracism would be a big deal because we all have someone to hate together.
Exactly. It would be a unified goal of taking down something worse than us.
Yeah.
And that shows that we have very, very little acceptance in it. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way.
But anyways, this is running long, but this is the best. Well, like one of the best episodes. This is my favorite episode of all ages. Even though
because not only does this show these independent stories of Mary and this boy who ends up becoming the White Rabbit, it shows where their stories intertwine and what is going to lead us to the end of this series, or at least the end of this season.
So Mary's father ends up injecting himself with a devil. With demon blood.
Yeah.
Turns him into a monster and he kills his wife.
Yep.
And then he knocks stuff over and he starts trying to kill Mary, but somehow gets blocked by fire from all the chemicals in his office. Burns down the whole house and Mary's now in orphan. And he doesn't really say much after that, aside from she ends up going to Dark-Con.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I mean, that's legit.
I'm going to defeat demons.
Yeah, that's basically the story that leads her to Dark-Com, and she's in almost a game-accurate outfit, minus the jacket that she's wearing when she shows up on the doorstep of Dark-Com. Once she's a part of Dark-Com, she does a few missions, and apparently through smugglers, finds out that there's a warehouse where these demons are hiding out. And unfortunately, these demons are the ones that the boy, who eventually becomes a White Rabbit, has been smuggling in to our world.
Yeah.
He has been smuggling them in, and they're kind of like housed there. So Dark-Com literally sets up a sting operation. When they get there, they end up killing the Macayans that are there. The boy is already in Mackay, finding other people.
Trying to find more groups.
But they are getting killed by a giant demon, the same kind of demon that literally found him when he first arrived in Mackay. Yeah. And he shuts them over.
Yeah, he's like, run, and gets them through the
Only to find Dark-Com there, and he tells them to put their hands up, and Mary's like, why do you look human? And he's like, I am human. I'm just trying to save these people from what is over there. And she's like, fuck that. They're demons. The only thing that should happen here is you should be killing them right now. And he's like, look, if you could just lower your guns, I can explain. And that's when the big demon comes in and starts, and they start offloading and killing all the Macayans there. He's freaking out, and Mary takes her.
A few times.
He gets shot at least once, and then Mary's like got a freaking grenade belt like from Hellboy 1. And throws it at the Macayan, and she just dips out with everybody else after telling them to evacuate. And I love how she looks back and she just like looks forward and is like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and then boom, blows up the whole fucking warehouse.
So everybody in there who wasn't dead is definitely dead, except for our would-be White Rabbit, who is terribly burned and now has to look at the dead bodies of all his friends and family that he brought over here of his own volition, only to see that now all the efforts that he made to save them from a world that was already killing them to a world that possibly could have saved them has killed them in the stead. And now he like literally loses his fucking mind, and now he has to get revenge.
but also apparently he's so injured from this that he builds a device that slowly injects him with the demon blood.
Yep, which is why when you see in episode 3. No, 3. I want to say 3 because he pops up and then they shoot him with the anti-demon rounds, but it doesn't actually hurt him and it just regenerates his arm.
Yeah.
So that's why his arm regenerated. He didn't explode because he's getting enough demon blood in his system to heal himself, but not actually make him a demon.
Yeah. Yeah, so he, and then, like, let me tell you, I don't know how he did that mask where it is an accurate, like, talking, because he cuts and makes a mask out of stuffed bunny suits, and then sews it to his skin somehow, but, like, his mouth talks like he's a regular rabbit. I don't know how the fuck he does that shit.
I love the ending line for the episode. Now we all go down the rabbit hole together.
I mean, you gotta stick with your theme, man. It's just like Two-Face. Like, Two-Face had a theme, and he stuck with it.
He stuck with it. So, with the ending of this episode, you now know exactly why the White Rabbit is doing what he is doing. It is a huge revenge story, and it took a while to get to the revenge part, but guess what? That shit is so good. It's so good.
It's super
He
good.
is such a great antagonist for this series.
Yeah, I really, this is like the best episode of all.
It really is. Really is.
But all right, so that's the end of this episode, episode 6. If you missed the previous 5, go check them out.
Yes.
5. And then we got 2 more to go, and then we'll be done with the series.
Facts.
Sponsor us.
Right?
Listening.
Hey, Capcom, get in on this because
Yeah,
we will sit here
Right.
and each play this game on Twitch for you.
Yeah,
All the games.
I'll play all of them.
Whole series. He hasn't played a single one. I've played all of them. I'll play them again. I don't care.
I played the reboot.
He played the reboot.
But I'll play the originals. I don't care. I'll do it.
Facts.
Right now.
Let's do it.
Thank you so much for listening. Sorry for begging.
Bye, folks.